Hey there, I'd like to take you around and show you my hastily constructed Starship bridge simulator here in my garage. This is an engineering station. You get a view of the ship. You've got repair crews that you can deploy to different sections of the ship. You can control power that's given to each subsystem. You can also control the amount of coolant flow to each subsystem, in this case rear shields, front shields, warp drive, impulse engines, maneuvering thrusters, sensors, torpedoes, and the primary beams. Status display of all the weapon complements, torpedoes, energy, front shields, rear shields, repair status for different systems. You've got presets that you can store for different settings. This is the weapon station of the ship. You can control the view out the front view screen. You also have access to shields. Turn shields on and off. Select targets. Load torpedo tubes. Weapon status, energy status, shield status. This is the comm station. This is where you communicate with friends, enemies of the players. So you also, comms is also in charge of calling red alert, which makes a nice noise, turns the whole place red. So you can choose an enemy, and you can taunt the enemy. Here's an example. You're so ugly that your wife will thank me for killing you. There we go. You can also ask the enemies to surrender. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This is the helm station. You're responsible for moving the ship and also controlling the front view screen. You can also request docking with stations and friendly ships, raise and lower the shields, and you generally fly the thing here. This is the science station. The science officer is responsible for scanning basically everything in the universe to try to find out more about it. You can choose stations, give them a scan. Here's an unknown ship here. Select him, scan it. Takes a second. And then we determined that Y98 is a Kralian cruiser located at bearing 239, range 35 kilometers. We can see his shield status, and as we get closer we can get more information such as condition of the shields, frequency of the shields, so we can match our weapons to have the most impact. There's one player who doesn't get a computer or a station. That would be the captain, who sits in the middle in this fancy chair underneath the big red light. Each station on my bridge has a set of LEDs underneath, firing down onto the name badge for the station. Let's see the LEDs here. These are controlled by my lighting controller that I built, that I'll show you in a bit. Also have some panels with other strips of LEDs. On this one there is a strip of white used for general illumination. There's a strip of RGB in the middle that change colors depending on ship status. And although they're not illuminated right now, there's a strip of blue that are used to indicate that the shields are in operation. Here's another strip on the starboard side of the ship, identical to the other one, with 3 strips of LEDs. This is a spare station that I'm currently using for an information display. It's stuck here in an old AS400 rack unit that at one point I used for a rack to hold test equipment, and there's an old Apple II here just for character. Now here's an overhead lighting panel that I built with a few strips of LEDs on it. The really bright ones on the end, those are blue to indicate that the shields are active. RGB strips going down the middle that change colors depending on various functions, and we've got some white ones that are used for general illumination. The big red one from a traffic light is not controlled by the game, it's just there for ambiance. This guy here is just an old Sony receiver. It's got some nice blinking lights on it, and we have a power switch that I use to turn on and off some of the ambient lights, such as the UV light and the big stoplight. The screen, the main screen, is just a projection screen in a frame. Down here we have an old projection TV that's just used kind of as a bulkhead. Got some rope lights there that I decided not to use, but they glow quite nicely under the UV. And there's our UV lamp. The main view screen is taken care of by an old Panasonic home theater projector back here on a shelf in the back of the room. And the game server itself is just a laptop. It also runs the main view screen connected to the projector above it. This is my quick and dirty lighting controller that I built. We have an Arduino Pro Mini, I believe, and there are 5 channels of lighting. There's some NPN transistors lined up along the back. They don't have heat sinks. There's hardly any current in use from the LEDs. I assigned different channels of lighting to the wires and Cat5 cable. So the Cat5 daisy chains along to the different light units. It's all run by a power supply. It's currently pulling about 1/4 amp. And the Arduino is running the DMX serial library, and it speaks, the game speaks DMX over USB to control the lights. And each one of these LEDs I use for testing. This is the 3 channels of the RGB strips. This is the general illumination, and the yellow one is the blue strips for the shield lighting. Now currently the shields are up, so the blue lighting is illuminated. It's really a nice effect during the game. The lighting flickers as your ship takes damage. You get a bright burst of light. You get hit by an object or a weapon. Let me see if we can find someone to shoot at us. Let's see. Oh, looks like the S3 is under attack. So we will set a course in that direction. Go to warp. Overshoot, of course. Oh, look, someone did shoot at us. Oh, there we go. Taking some damage now. So you get distortion on the stations as you get hit. I should raise my shields. Oh, we're having trouble flickering.